This new update has sparked outrage in the One Punch Man Season 3 fandom. But what is it? Well, yesterday this X account, DPDM, posted this. During a few frames when Flashy Flash uses his flashy kicks, they forgot to remove some editing assets. You can see the date on the top right, November 19th, meaning that this episode was finished recently. Yeah, you do see a lot of production info covering the screen, and if you increase the brightness, you can easily see the date. And as you can see here, the tweet is starting to get a lot of attention. And what do I think about all of this? Just like what a lot of people said in the quotes and the comments, this pretty much does confirm that One Punch Man Season 3 began production this year and possibly a few months ago. Seeing this tweet showing that this one sequence was still being made on the 19th of November, it honestly makes me feel bad for the animators and artists, because that was just over a week before the episode got released to the world. Now, one would think that an episode like this would have already been done months ago, but sadly that is just not how the anime industry works. And sadly, it's not just One Punch Man Season 3 that faces this issue. It is indeed quite common for anime episodes to still be in production and finalized just before days or even a week before their scheduled broadcasted date. Now, in One Punch Man Season 3's case, I think it does actually answer why the episodes before episode 8 looked very janky and lacked any movement. It looks like they were working on those episodes many days before the episode came out. Now, maybe not every episode, because episode 5 was pretty decent at times, and even episode 3, but the fact that this episode 8, which is possibly the best episode of the season, was still being finalized and worked on days before it was released to the world is indeed very concerning, because it confirms that the animators and artists are being worked to the bone, trying to rush out these episodes before it releases to the world. But it does leave me quite confused as to why this season was not delayed. Why not take a couple of months until the entire season looks as good as possible? Because rushing out these episodes days and weeks before it eventually premieres is honestly just damaging the One Punch Man Season 3 brand. And not just Season 3, but the entire anime series. As you can see here, all of Season 1 is in the green, while half of Season 2 is in green, while the other half is more or less in yellow. But then you have Season 3 where the majority of Season 3 is in purple, and that one episode is in orange. As you can see at the top, the colors represent whether an episode is awesome or garbage. Most of Season 3 was so bad that it missed out on any of the red bad ratings and went straight to the purple garbage ratings. When new watchers of One Punch Man see ratings like this and see how great Season 1 is and how Seasons 2 and 3 get worse and worse, they will not only be off-putted by Season 2 and 3, but the entirety of Season 1, because they'll think to themselves, what's the point of watching One Punch Man Season 1 if the rest of the season is going to get even worse? Let us just drop the series and give up on it. It's just damaging the reputation of the IP, and the poor ratings in terms of how people feel about it could end up leading into poor viewer ratings. The IMDb is currently a 6-7 out of 10, with the Rotten Tomatoes going from 6% last week to 7%. While those ratings are much better than last week's and previous weeks of episodes of One Punch Man, it's extremely unfortunate that those episodes had to be the sacrifice for this episode 8 to be victorious. But despite all the doom and gloom, there actually may be hope for One Punch Man Season 3, as a couple of weeks ago, One Punch Man Season 3 producer said this statement: "Pay special attention to the action scenes in episode 29, Season 3 episode 5, which has just aired, as well as in episode 33, Season 3 episode 9. This season features action scenes that are even more intense and continuous than previous ones. So we began discussing production methods with the studio from the start and carried out various experiments." The fact that she mentions those two episodes in particular does make you wonder, were those episodes already completed when she said this statement? Now, we all know that episode 5 was not the best looking episode in One Punch Man at all. It had many errors and very unfortunate editing issues, and despite episode 8 still being worked on days before the release, it still had excellent animation in the first half. And if she is hyping up episode 9, then one does wonder if episode 9 is already completed with absolute stellar art and animation. I do hope that's the case, but honestly, Bandai Namco need to sort out their priorities and rethink how they treat their animation studios they are paying to animate a series that they own. It pretty much confirms that Bandai Namco put One Punch Man to the side and were like, oh yeah, One Punch Man Season 3, let's do that, instead of working on the episodes years before it releases. It does look like production began of this year, with artists and animators being stressed out and pushed to the bone. This scene did happen during a ghosting and dimming moment. I feel like the ghosting and dimming absolutely ruins the art and animation and distorts the director's intended vision, but of course we cannot have a repeat of Pokemon Shock. But it does look like that ghosting and dimming may be a thing of the past now. A couple of days ago, the official Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 X account posted this new statement: to commemorate the broadcast and streaming of Season 3 Jujutsu Kaisen, we will sequentially switch the footage of the TV series currently available on each streaming service to the Blu-ray and DVD version starting December the 1st Monday. Please take this opportunity to enjoy this series once again. So the JJK team are more or less confirming that the Blu-ray versions will be available on streaming sites. And if you have seen the Blu-ray versions of JJK, you will notice that the ghosting and dimming have been removed, showing what the director's intended vision looks like. Now I know that JJK and One Punch Man have very different production committees and very different animation studios, but the fact that they are doing this, it does make me wonder that when we eventually get One Punch Man Season 3 on Blu-ray, will the Blu-ray remove all of the ghosting and dimming? And will that Blu-ray be available on every streaming platform? Who knows? Only J.C.Staff knows. But overall, I'm not gonna lie, I am actually somewhat looking forward to episode 9 of Season 3. Now, will the same issues arise in Season 3 episode 9? Yes, I can imagine that. The disco light filters will possibly be there once again, but with how good the first half of Season 3 episode 8 was, and with the director hyping up episode 9, could we expect the entirety of episode 9 to have the same quality, if not even better art and animation that was shown to us in episode 8? If episode 8 is the beginning of the rise of One Punch Man Season 3, could the remaining episodes actually save Season 3 entirely? Imagine if One Punch Man Season 3 episode 9 becomes the best animated episode of the year. That would be absolutely crazy, and mate, I would be extremely happy. But who knows? Tell me in the comments down below, what do you guys think of all of this? Tell me. Like this video, subscribe for more One Punch Man videos, as well as other anime news updates, reviews, comparisons, breakdowns, rankings, and more. Thank you for watching. The Second Boy Dude signing out.